All right, so today we're going to be talking about continuous glucose monitors, your CGM, that you should have gotten in the mail. And we're going to go over how to put it on, how to use it on your app, and then an overview of why I'm recommending this. So if you have a CGM or if you've never used these before, basically what it does is it monitors your blood sugar. So it stays on you and it gives you real-time feedback on how your body reacts to food and stress and other things. Is actually super interesting. But basically it monitors your blood sugar. Now, the reason I want you to use this is because I think, we sometimes hear like, this is healthy for you, or this is really good for you, or you shouldn't eat this. And we inherently know that, but then it's hard to see how your body actually responds to what we're feeding it. And I really like this as a tool that you can use for at least the next month. And you can actually, if you wanted to buy it off stilo.com, I'll leave that link and you can just continue using them. It used to be just for diabetics, but Dexcom, the company who created Stilo, they put out one that's for everyone. I used to have to pay like anywhere between $200 to $400 a month just for one, and they were prescription based only. But about a year ago, or in 2024, they created the product so that anyone can just get it for like $99. So that's amazing because I think it's very useful. So let's go ahead and talk about how to put them on. So this is the box. Yours is gonna say Stilo. Mine says G7. That's because I don't have a Stilo one with me and I got a bunch of these. So, but they're all pretty much the same company. So in your box, this is the continuous glucose monitor, and you should also have these things in here. This has instructions. You can go ahead and read that if you like. Otherwise, I'm just going to show you how to do it. So the first thing you want to do with this is actually, you're going to find an area to put it on, and you also want to download the app. Now, if you don't have the app downloaded right this minute, go ahead and just do that now. It's Stilo. So when you open the app, it'll tell you exactly how to do everything. It'll make you register, and then it'll tell you how to put these on step by step. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you. So the first thing you wanna do is clean up the area. Or actually, let's start here. The first thing you wanna do is figure out what spot you wanna put it in. So I recommend, you can use like the back of your arm. That's where I generally have it. You can use like your abdomen. You just want a little bit of fat in the area. You don't really want a very tone or muscle area. You want it to be in the subcutaneous tissue. So I usually use the arm. The other thing to consider is when you're putting it on, you got to think about what you're leaning against. Anytime you lean against something and you put pressure on the device, it will erroneously make it look like your blood sugar is falling down. So it'll, so it might look like you're hypoglycemic at like the 40s or 30s if you're leaning against it. So you don't want it, you kind of want it somewhere where it won't be leaning against anything. So I tend to put it slightly on the inner side of my arm. So it might go against me a little bit. I don't like to put it directly on the back of my arm because you can lean against something like that, or you might accidentally hit it off. That's another reason why I don't put it too much on the outside. You can if you want to, but I think when it's more exposed to the outside, you'll find that you accidentally rub against something and it like knocks off. Yeah, it does come off that easy. And I'll show you a way if you really wanted to keep them on, so to prevent it from falling off easily, I'll show you how to do that. If you put it on your abdomen, you're gonna make sure that it's not where like around your belt line or anything like that. You want to kind of keep it a little bit above like your pant line. You don't want your pants or whatever to like rub it off again. So let's go ahead and just put this on so I can show you exactly how to do that. So you're gonna find an area you can eat. If you don't have an alcohol prep, that's what I just use right now. If you don't have an alcohol prep, just use, go take a shower and then clean up the area, soap and water, whatever. You just want it kind of clean because you can get an infection if you don't clean up the area. So what you're gonna do with this device is you're gonna open it. So you just twist it like that. And there is a little wire in there. That is what's gonna stay in your system, basically. So you're gonna find a place wherever you want. And so this is about where I'm gonna put mine, my arm here, and you press against it, and then there's that button here. Let me show you again. It's this button here. So you're gonna press against the place that you wanna put it, and then boom, it's in. That's it. That's it. Easy peasy. And then what you'll do is you are gonna put this overpatch on. This will kind of take off the little paper, and then you're gonna put it right on like that, and then make sure it's all nice and neat. And then you want to be able to pull this off. Hopefully the white part stays on. There you go, just like that. That's it. So it doesn't matter if you get it wet, it's totally fine. What you might want to do if you are pretty active and you're running or you're doing things and you're afraid it's going to come off, I buy these patches online because I do use these kind of often. So I'll buy a patch like this, and this is the brand that I found, but they have like patches for like just 1 or 2 if you wanted to on Amazon. I'll leave a link below so you can get it there. But I like to put one over here, so I'll do that now just so you know what it looks like. Okay, there you go. And so what I'll do with this is I'll put this patch right over it, and then it's like more protected. But that's if you want to. If you have just a month of it, I wouldn't recommend it getting that unless you really, really want to, unless you're very, very active. So this device will last you about 14 days. If for any reason there's a malfunction or it doesn't work, you're gonna contact Dexcom directly or Stilo directly, because I cannot do anything about that. So I'm gonna leave the support info below so that you can contact them in case it dies early. I think they will replace it for free, so you can try that. Now that you have your device on you, what you want to do is connect the device to your phone, and it's connected by Bluetooth. So what you're gonna do is go onto the app, and on this, like the container, it will have a little QR code, and you're gonna scan that QR code, and that's gonna help you connect it to your device. Now, if for some reason this doesn't work out and it's not connecting, restart the app. This has happened to me. It just didn't connect, and I thought, oh man, I gotta take this thing off. Don't take it off, leave it on. Just restart the app and then use the device. If you have any issues, you can shoot me a text, and we can troubleshoot. Once your device is connected, what I want you to do is go into the settings, and then you are gonna connect you're gonna connect the clinic with the clinic code. That way your data can be sent to me so we can work on this together. And so the clinic code is gonna be linked below, but it's Ageless FM. So Ageless FM, that's it, one word. And that should be able to share your data with me. And then what I would like you to do is start logging your food on this device. That will be helpful for me. So when we review your data together, I can go over like what foods you've been eating and what how that's been affecting your blood sugar. And then we can talk about either if that's good or bad, or if it's if there's alternatives, or if I could have any recommendations for you. So what I don't want you to do is be obsessed over every number. I want you to look at this as a time to experiment and get to know how your body responds to food, because no two people respond to food the exact same way. So I've had friends wear this device and we will eat the same meal, and they will have, like, say, for black beans, my body does not like black beans. My blood sugar spikes every single time. And my friend who is wearing the same thing, his blood sugar was totally fine. Whereas where I eat sweet potatoes, his blood sugar might spike and mine might stay like totally level. So everyone's body is different, and this is a way to get to know your body. It's also kind of cool because it's like an accountability partner. If you're sneaking in snacks, you can definitely see the change in your blood sugar. So what I really want you to do is just experiment, get to know your body, how it reacts to food. I want you to take note of things. Take note of what foods cause your blood sugar to spike and which ones cause it to crash. And also be aware of how your body feels, your energy levels. Like if you're having that afternoon slump in the middle of the day, is it because you're eating a high carb meal that's causing your blood sugar to crash? And then now you're tired? Take note of these things. And I want you to just experiment with it. You can try healthy foods like oatmeal or acai bowls or, smoothies, bananas, and then see how your body reacts to that. And then I want you to try adding certain foods in front of that. So if you do find that your blood sugar spikes, that doesn't mean you have to completely avoid that food. Unless it's processed foods, you probably should, minimize that anyways. But say you have an apple and your blood sugar spikes with just an apple. If you add peanut butter to it, what does your body do with that? Does it spike or does it mellow out? And then look at the order in which you eat food. So say you have steak and veggies and potatoes. And I don't know if you're like me, I don't eat them in sections. There are some people who do that, but I like to eat everything all at once and try the different flavors. Notice if you eat that same food and your blood sugar spikes, if you tend to have that same food again the next day, try eating it in a different order. Like have the steak and veggies first, and then your potatoes last, and then see if that helps curve that blood sugar spike. I think it'll be really eye-opening. And then also try some of like I used to try things like the protein, low zero carb type, like for pasta, and those still spiked my blood sugar. So you can try out all these health food things and then see what happens to your body. The other thing I think is worth taking note while you're using this is look at your stress response or your sleep. If you have a night of poor sleep, does your blood sugar respond the same the next day? I think you will notice that if you have poor sleep, if you're like me, I eat the same breakfast every single day. But if you do that, you'll notice that your blood sugar doesn't respond the same. It's actually worse. Like your glucose response or your insulin response is not as good. And so you'll know that you actually need to watch what you eat on the days where you're really high stressed or that you're getting less sleep. And then when you're really high stressed, sometimes your blood sugar will spike even without eating anything. And you'll be like, why is my blood sugar so high? That's because cortisol is like your fight and flight response, right? It's stress. Even if you're not running from a bear, your body thinks it needs to. And so it will put blood sugar into your system so that your body has the energy and the nutrients it needs to run. So that's why stress management is super important. Another thing to take note of is what happens with movement and exercise, right? So if you just did a hard workout and then you eat whatever it is that you want to eat post-workout, how does your blood sugar respond? Does it do better? It usually does. But that's to me one of the best times to consume carbohydrates, even the fast carbs, as opposed to complex carbs, is because the simple carbs can be absorbed readily into your bloodstream, and after exercise, your body actually needs that. And then look at what's happening when you're walking. Like say you eat a meal and then you just sit down and watch TV or do whatever afterwards, get to work. What happens with your blood sugar then? And then if you eat that same meal What happens if you take a 10-minute walk afterwards? How does your body respond? Does that blood sugar still spike? Or say you're having a cheat meal or a snack and you know it's gonna spike your blood sugar, but you really want that chips and salsa or that cookie. I'm obsessed with cookies. So maybe instead of just sitting around and eating that, maybe you take a walk afterwards and see if that does anything for your blood sugar. Now, I will say, if you do eat something like really high carb, or a big meal, don't exercise, like do a HIIT exercise right afterwards. Walking is fine, but you don't want to do like something intense because you will stop your digestion. Your body is gonna, the cortisol, everything is gonna spike, and then you're gonna not, your body's gonna think it doesn't need to digest. So working out extremely after a meal is not a good idea. But walking afterwards is totally fine. And then when it comes to alcohol use, you will see that a lot of times your blood sugar will drop a bit. And as long as it's not like a high sugary drink, that sugary drinks will actually make your body spike. But if you're drinking like even just beer or straight liquor, then your blood sugar actually might dip. This will make you more hungry too. So this is just something to be aware of. So what range do you want to keep your blood sugar in? Like ideally, your fasting blood sugar when you wake up every morning, ideally is below 90. You really want 70 to 85. Most people are around 80-ish, but anything below 90 is good. Although 85 and above is kind of creeping up a little bit, but just take a look at that every single day. Okay, so the other range to be aware of where you want to keep your blood sugar throughout the day is around 70 to 140. Now, with certain meals, it will spike up to 180. For some things, you might actually see it go to 200. That's not bad, but it's not good because, you don't want it to stay over 200, especially if it's taking a long time to come down. These are kind of signs of insulin resistance. But your blood sugar at baseline should be around the 80s to 90s throughout the day. But ideally, your blood sugar should be around 70 to 140. And if your blood sugar is spiking above that when you're eating, that's okay. It just, as long as it's coming down and as long as a majority of the time your blood sugar isn't above 140. Another thing to look out for is, say you wake up in the middle of the night to go pee at 3 a.m. every morning. It's kind of nice to see if your blood sugar is spiking randomly in the middle of the night. Keep note of that. If that's the case, we need to talk about that. So how to remedy all those things. So like I said before, do not obsess over the numbers. Try to just see the big picture of how your body's responding to everything. It's great to learn and just test things out. So this will be a fun experiment. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope this is helpful.